Well, guys, welcome back to the Big Screen Show. I'm Alex.
I'm Wyatt. Welcome back, guys. We're here with you for the last episode of The Bad Batch. This will be our last episode with you. It has been one heck of a season, and me and Alex have really enjoyed doing this together and bringing this to you all. It has been a major success for the channel, and we cannot thank you enough. Last week's episode concluded with the team and Rampart hitching a covert ride to Tantus. Meanwhile, Omega and her friends, the fellow prisoners, have hatched a plan to escape. Alex, do you have any notes or anything you want to say about last week before we hop into the season finale?
Yeah, one little detail that was made from episode 14 is the fact that Rampart actually got captured in Tandis while Crosshair, Wrecker, Hunter were still left in the jungle of the woods when they were trying to get to Tandis base on foot. And then we have Echo meet up with Dr. Emery, who's basically helping him now to try and find Echo and to help free the kids and know where the clones are. So that means Emery is starting her little redemption arc by trying to help out everybody else. And so I think that's where most of that ends as we get into Omega and the children getting ready to escape.
Yeah, that's where we're at, and that's where we're going to go with the recap. The finale, well, that's where we're gonna go with the finale. Sorry, guys. The finale opened up with gorgeous music, scoring the normal title sequence with a far more dire track. The episode opens with the Bad Batch making their way to Mount Tantus on foot in the jungle. Wrecker is still hurting from fighting off a humongous, vicious creature from the last episode. Dr. Hemlock goes to speak from the now captured ex Vice Admiral Rampart, who is in a cell. The two have a snooty villain contest. Hemlock waxes about his great works, how it's beyond the understanding of normal people. Rampart is flat out telling him that the Emperor will not like that his super secret base has been found. It ends with Hemlock calling Rampart dispensable. Across the hall, he sees Nala Se in her cell. So, opening up here, they're en route, pretty much in the woods, recovering off fighting that creature. Like you said, Hemlock or not Hemlock, Rampart got away last episode. The interaction between Rampart and Hemlock was very interesting, and as soon as they reported that they had a prisoner that was captured, I was like, "Oh man, he about to tell on them, like he's about to give them up all type of way." What were you thinking?
Honestly thought he was really is just going to tell everybody what the whole plan is and stuff. But the thing is it switched up on us where Hemlock was basically saying like, "Oh yeah, I had a feeling they were going to be they were going to be coming back. I'll be able to end this once and for all." But then we also kind of get like a clash of egos between Hemlock and Rampart, where it seems more like Hemlock is the one that's coming out on top more because like he's playing chess, whereas Rampart he's not even a player on the board. If anything, he's like just like a pawn or just nothing.
Yeah, he's nothing now. Yeah, and he was nothing before because he was obviously dispensable by the
Mm-hmm.
Empire. So just a pawn that the Empire has used. The episode continues, jumping to Emery and Echo. She's getting nervous about him being discovered. Ever the cool headed one, Echo continues his work looking for the records of the vault Omega is in. When Echo questions why she's helping, Emery admits that she was wrong about her work on Tantus. She's going to help get Echo into the vault. Omega is the force. Omega is with the force-sensitive kids in the vault, ready to enact her plan. They're nervous about it, but what other choice do they have? While two of the kids distract the medical droid, Omega takes out its power with a tool she swiped and hid in the previous episode. They pull the droid into one of the other rooms, but Dr. Scolder, who has become increasingly suspicious about Emery, Omega, and the kids in the previous episodes, notice the children aren't in the main area. So She goes, peeps down there in the main area, and the kids take this chick out. They take the doctor out. They hit the doctor with the medical droid and pretty much don't kill her, but they tranquilize the doctor.
Yeah, I gotta tell you,
Pretty
I was so satisfying to watch because I really did not like her. She was just already cold and just kind of mean for the with the kids. So like, I was so satisfied to see her just get knocked out.
Yeah, same here. I love the kids finally like hatching a plan to escape. The other kids were like so excited, and just like seeing them actually like put plan into action and like Omega like lead these children, like, and she showed like a lot of characteristics that she had learned from the batch. So
Yeah,
she all episodes she was showing little characteristics that she learned from each member of the batch and somebody on her journey. So I really liked how they put those little tidbits in there.
yeah. I mean, honestly, this whole episode just kind of more signifies how like how much of a family that they are, and like pretty much that, and that pretty much Omega is pretty much the Bad Batch's children, Bad Batch's child, really, with how much influence they've had over her, and just he's just growing.
Yeah. It has been their child. I mean, Nala Se and the Bad Batch. So I mean, those have been her two caretakers, and she's definitely experienced more with the
Hmm.
Batch, just going on all these crazy missions and stuff like that. They are like all just like father figures to her. It's great to see. Things are getting worrisome back with the rest of the batch as Wrecker is really struggling with his injury. Inside the base, Emery leads Echo into the vault, giving her all the intel about how the Empire took the kids in the first place. Too bad they just missed the kids. Though Omega is putting her plan into action, she's led them to where the Zillo Beast is being held. As the other kids wait in the vents, she sneaks towards the holding cell of the beast. However, Baron, the one baby among the force sensitive kids, begins to cry. Stormtrooper Stormtroopers head to check it out. Just as the kids are found, Omega drains the Zillo Beast's watery cell and the creature wakes up. I had a feeling like when they were going down to the vault, I'm like, oh my gosh, the kids are leaving and they're gonna get down there at the same time. Like I had that in my mind as I was watching. But so lit that they put a Zillo Beast in here. It's like they love putting Zillo Beasts in the show. I don't know what writer or who on the show just loves Zillo Beast, but this is multiple times that the Zillo Beast has been on film, and we get to see a Zillo Beast in full attack mode, full revenge mode. I loved it.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's to show how well thought out that Omega was thinking about this plan. Because back in episode 14, during our whole recap, when she was going through like the vents that the children escaped from, she found this whole thing, and it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like a huge, great effect for the plan, and maybe as a huge distraction to basically him is gonna divert all his forces to try and take care of that thing and help them, and always in Omega can find that way to escape.
No, exactly. And that's what Echo says to Emery when they arrive. Pretty much, she's like, Omega, because the Zillo Beast is in the background. They're like, oh crap, the Zillo Beast is out. All the units are being rerouted and stuff like that. So they know the Zillo Beast is out. And dude is like, yo, this is the Omega let the Zillo Beast out. She's splitting their forces up. Just like you said. The Zillo Beast is ramping shit up. The Zillo Beast begins to climb inside its high cell, looking for a way out. Outside, Crosshair Tremors are acting up. Closer he gets to Tantus. You can see this man just shaking. The more pressing concern is Wrecker, who is not doing good. Crosshairs takes cards, giving Hunter and Wrecker the order to find a communication ray to contact Rex. Crosshair will infiltrate the base himself. When they try to talk him out of it, he snaps back that the Clone Force 99 died with Tech. He knows what's in the mountain. Omega needs you both, so I'm doing this alone. It's it's what I deserve.
Oh yeah, music relationship. I think this is like like the most critical moment and probably like the most emotionally type vulnerable that Crosshair is able to do because again he's back at this place that he never wanted to go back to after like getting tortured to try and get like mind control like be one of those shadow troopers and everything like that.
Hmm.
And then we have like Crosshair who's trying to make like this sacrifice for his brothers that he betrayed a long time. He betrayed for like a good while and finally got back. But I think it also shows how like with Hunter and Wrecker with how much Crosshair is actually trying to like get his redemption back, and it's like him doing this is not the way to do it because like they've already lost Tech one brother, they don't want to lose another one doing this because again they've done all these risks and all these missions together, and they always make their way out together. Even though yes, they did lose Tech and their team wasn't the same, but that's all the more reason that they have to stick together, especially for Omega's sake, because Omega would not want to lose Crosshair like she lost Tech.
No, exactly. And that's the point Hunter makes. Omega needs all of her family.
Uh-huh.
They're all a family. Omega needs all of her family. They know the risks, so they're doing this together.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's pretty much what Hunter and Wrecker assure Crosshair, and they back gang. They back gang with it.
Mm-hmm. That's
And they back with it. They back brothers again, bro. Like they've been brothers. And they're going to infiltrate this base to save Omega and to save the rest of the clones. Just
yeah.
then, what you got to say?
Oh yeah, I would say another funny thing that happened is that after like the Zilla Beast actually is able to break free, but essentially like Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker are like, yeah, Omega did that. Because they know her so well that that's the type of thing that she would do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like, "Oh, do you think this is Omega and Echo?" And they're like, "Oh, Omega."
Yeah, like the dads know their daughter.
Nah, real talk, real talk. Just then, they hear distant banging from the mountain as the Zilla Beast bursts out of the side of the base and flees into the jungle. Thanks to Omega's handiwork, they now have a way into the mountain. Hemlock wants to set a trap for Clone Force 99. He wants to send shuttles after the Zilla Beast, purposely weakening the base's defenses. This way, when the batch tries to use that entry, they'll be where Hemlock wants them. He goes and activates 4 new CX clones, who are more droids than men at this point. All also have special weapons like shields, swords, etc., making them extra lethal. As the batch finally makes it to the base, slipping into the side of the mountain where the Zilla Beast escaped, they're met by the CX clones and a squad of stormtroopers. Crosshair creates a distraction, shooting a thermal detonator and taking out an above bridge to crash on half the squad. An Imperial shutter swoops in, firing on the batch. Hunter gets blown back and pinned under some wreckage. Wrecker hauls him out, but the CX clones are immediately on them. As one pins down Crosshair, the CX clone cuts off Crosshair's shooting hand.
I say that is like one of the darkest moments of Star Wars. 'Cause I literally did not think he was actually gonna get his shooting hand like just chopped off. That was like the most one of the most shocking moments I've seen in this episode. I did not think I was gonna be seeing it.
Man, it
Man, you
was
can
that was lit. Those CX clones were fire, bro. They had the dude with this. They had swords, and when they were standing like on the boxes and like the rebel that was just like there from the Zilla Beast getting out, it was it was tight. It was tight. These
yeah,
guys
that,
were nothing to mess with.
yeah. This shit is terrifying, man. Like I be saying, it's like Treadstone with Jason Bourne and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These special ops, man.
Because you saw how what one could do, and
Yeah.
then you look up and there's multiple, and there's like only 3 of us. I'm like, let's pull back, guys.
Yeah, even Crosshair was saying like, no, we cannot take them. We can't.
Nah, no way. But Crosshair gets his shooting hand taken off, and he's lucky. He's lucky he left with his life. With Echo and Emery, they see the unconscious members of the batch getting rolled past on carts, now captured. Echo decides to prioritize finding the kids first, before saving the others, who they find right away in the science hangar, taking out a few guards in the process. They get Emery and the kids on a shuttle. Echo gives Emery coordinates, but he and Omega have to save the rest of the brothers, including all the other clones. Emery gives Omega the data pad to access all the facilities. Echo and Omega head off to find the rest of the batch as Emery flies the kids to safety. I love seeing Emery and the kids take off, get to safety, and of course, Echo and Omega are not leaving their brothers behind.
Yeah, that. Yeah, 'cause basically they got one part of the mission has been complete. Now it's just got to do. Now you got to finish the rest.
Man, the kids are out. Emery's protecting them, and like you said, now they got to finish the job.
Yep.
And
Hey.
I kind of had a feeling like them going there that like they weren't coming back. Like
It
I
almost
didn't,
kind of felt
I,
like that.
I didn't think that they were going to see Emery again. That's what it made. That's what how they made it feel like.
Mm-hmm. That's a little bit true like that. But I think also probably is a good thing. Also, because then, hey, Emery got her redemption arc by trying to save these kids that were basically just going to be like, who knows how long the Empire was going to keep them for.
Man,
Honestly,
forever until they died, they were never going to be released.
yeah,
They were never letting them go. Nah, the Empire ain't doing that.
yeah, yeah. No, they say it'd be like fuck them kids.
Yeah. Uh, Omega and Echo are not idle getting into the prison area. They free the clone prisoners as well as Nala Se and Rampart. They arm the clones with blasters they picked up and could carry along the way. They don't see the batch among the prisoners, so they must be in Hemlock's conditioning room. Rampart wants to leave them behind. Echo says clones don't leave their brothers behind. Giving a rousing speech, several clones volunteer to help him and Omega save the rest of the batch. They split their new squad between getting out the injured and going after the team for one more fight. Not before Nala Se pulls Omega to the side. The Kaminoan cannot let what she knows about the cloning fall into the Emperor's hands again. The only way Omega can be free is if Hemlock is gone and the science databanks are wiped. Nala Se says her goodbyes to Omega, as this is the scientist's own personal mission to do. Omega gives Nala Se the datapad and from Emery. However, Rampart is clearly not on board with any of this, so he chooses to go his own way. He follows Nala Se, taking a blaster of his own from a fallen trooper.
Yeah, that's why I see. This is why I be seeing. I knew Rampart was gonna be doing something, would do something duplicitous shit, man. I knew he can't be trusted. I knew he was gonna do something dirty.
Man, he's always looking out only for himself, bro. You knew this man was selfish. You knew this man was a snake.
I know they should have left him in the cell. That's what they should have did.
Man, they should have They should have probably just left him in the jungle, like deep in the jungle, like
Let him,
not where he could get captured. Or when he was getting captured, they should have capped him real quick so he couldn't give up no info.
yeah.
Like
I honestly wish he had
like
gotten
episode
eaten.
2 when Django hit that woman in the neck, just got all old, just wrinkled up. You know what I'm talking about? In
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, was
Yeah.
nasty. Man, I say it would have been so much better if Rampart just gotten eaten by one of the animals in the jungle, stuff like that. Be like, good riddance. Then let's move on.
Man, I would have been down with the Zillo Beast getting him too.
Oh yeah, flying through the air and he just it gets caught him right in his mouth and just swallows him whole.
Yeah, I do want to point out though that he did in there has to be some Kaminoans out there. He in the Kaminoan race, pretty much, with Nala Se being one of the last ones.
Yeah, but it also shows that there were another Kaminoans there. That also explains more about in the sequel trilogy how like Palpatine has had nothing but failures for this whole cloning thing with this whole Project Necromancer stuff.
Man, and I am a little disappointed that we didn't get to see more on Project Necromancer. I was looking forward to seeing the room that they took the Emperor in. I'm
Yeah,
still wondering what the heck's in there.
Yeah, I know. That's
That's
one of the mysteries that we probably won't know. We probably won't know or get to for anything in a while.
man, we're not gonna get that. We're not gonna get that.
That's gonna be a shame.
um, it is a shame, bro. I really wanted to see it. Maybe they'll touch on it somewhere else. Maybe we'll get a reveal or something. Meanwhile, Tarkin has heard all about the Zilla Beast getting out of Tantus. Emperor Palpatine is not happy with Hemlock. Tarkin is on his way to Mount Tantus to see the operation himself. Back with Omega and Echo, she slips into the vents again to get to the elevator shafts that run all through the mountain. Her goal is to get where the rest of the batch is being held so she can relay what's happening to Echo. That way, they don't walk into a trap. Nalase gets to the science lab, having picked up the detonator along the way. She finds Omega's file. Just as she prepares to delete it, Rampart appears with a blaster. However, he wants to know what the Emperor is up to in Mount Tantus. As he's looking, Nalase secretly starts the thermal detonator behind her back. Omega gets to Hemlock's vault in the vent and has eyes on the rest of the Bad Batch. She asks Echo to give a big enough distraction so she can free the others. Echo and his team burst in there, immediately met by CX clones, who start decimating Echo's men. Omega slips into the main area where Nalase gets to the science lab, having picked up a detonator along the way. She finds Omega's file. Just as she prepares to delete it, Rampart appears with a blaster. However, he wants to know what the Empire is up to in Mount Tantus. As he's looking, Nalase secretly starts the thermal detonator behind her back. Omega gets into the vault, gets into the vent, and has eyes on the rest of the batch. She asks Echo to give a big enough distraction so she can free the others. Echo and his team burst in there, immediately met by the CX clones, who start decimating Echo's men. They were literally slaughtering those clones, making quick work with them.
I know one of them even one of them even I see there were like literally two clones. There were literally two CX clones where literally one was having one of the prisoner clones help against the wall, and then one of the other CX clones literally brandished a sword right through him back of the wall as it was getting ready to be lowered. I swear those CX clones are like really the most could be like really the most threatening trooper sent out for the Empire because like it was like a one-sided battle.
And they almost reminded me of Inquisitors to a
Uh,
certain extent. They're like his version of Inquisitors.
yeah, that's even scary enough. I mean, seriously, it's like I mean, honestly, it makes it even more terrifying. Where like, imagine if the program had actually worked for Clone Force 99, they would be like unstoppable.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Nothing's taking them down.
Yeah. That's the most terrifying thing to think of having troopers like them out in the world as the enemy.
Man, imagine a whole army of them, and I guess that's what he was kind of trying to do, trying to test all these clones, see if they can be reconditioned to this level. And I guess it's just kind of the success rate. It's not a huge success rate. He only had like six of them, maybe like seven, like at most, including like the one that died. But moving on from the CX clones, because they ain't make it. Omega slips into the main area where one CX clone is still guarding it. She is able to get one of Wrecker's armed guards off before the CX trooper grabs her. Hemlock arrives and releases gas in the chamber below where Echo and his men are. Meanwhile, Rampart has copied all of Project Necromancer onto a datapad to use as a bargaining chip to get out of there. Nalase says her work will never belong to him or the Empire ever again. As Hemlock shoots her, she drops the thermal detonator, killing Rampart, his hubris, and destroying all the data about Omega and Project Necromancer.
But wait, she did it. Now this is a
She
really a
did it.
bittersweet. Yeah, this is a really bittersweet moment because one thing, I'm so glad that Rampart got taken out. And two, I'm so glad
Same.
he's gone. But hey, also now let's say she did the one last thing that she wanted to do. Protect her Kaminoan cloning technology and secrets, and keep Omega protected. And now she is. She finished her job.
Real talk, man. She can go down just like justified, like knowing that at the end of the day she was held captured and she was forced to do a lot of messed up things, and some of the things that she has done has affected a lot of other people. So it's nice to see her at the end of the day wipe the slate clean. Nobody can use her anymore. Nobody can use the technology of the camis. And Omega, the Empire doesn't know about Omega. They don't know about her blood. They're no longer going to be after her. So she ends the day with being the hero.
Yeah. I also like how basically with this finale so far, it really puts things in a lot of perspective on like the original trilogy, where it's like all we have left are the stormtroopers, where we don't have like any specially trained soldiers like the actual clone troopers and things like that. And while there's not much cloning that's ever used, except for when it was introduced more into like the Mandalorian and then into like Rise of Skywalker with the
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine and things like that. So also, I like how this is really showing much more expansion, like how we got to such and such points within the Star Wars movies.
Real talk, real talk. And there wasn't much cloning by the Empire. Like Tarkin said at the end, which we're going to get to, they're going to put their forces to Project Stardust. Or they're going to put their money to Project Stardust, which is the first Death Star.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
whenever he said that, I was like, oh my god! So that's the whole reason we moved on to that project, and then also leads more into like Rogue One and everything. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it just makes you love this series even more. It just adds so much more to like the lore and expansion of such and such projects and everything. I love it. I love it so much.
No, same here, bro. Same here, bro. We'll get back into it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Star Wars upcoming and the series in general at the end. Let's get through the recap because we're pretty much almost through the
Yeah,
episode here. I'm so glad it was 51 minutes. I'll say
yeah.
that.
So glad, so glad.
Thanks to a stormtrooper helmet, Echo is safe from the gas, though it's him versus the three other CX clones, as all of his men have passed out. They overwhelm Echo, and he's also captured. Scorch runs in, telling Hemlock the main lab has been destroyed, and it's time for the villain to go. Just then, Wrecker breaks out of his hold and starts a brawl in the room. Omega frees Hunter and Crosshair, but Hemlock slaps a pair of binders on her. Her hand is in one, and his hand is in the other. Along with Scorch, he drags her from room to room. Wrecker tells Hunter, get the kid, and he tackles the CX trooper out of the upper room, crashing into the floor below where Echo is. As they battle the remaining CX clones, Hunter and Crosshair take off after Omega despite being horrifically injured. The last of the CX clones are down, but so is Wrecker. His injuries are worse, and he's not doing good at all. I honestly thought Wrecker might die. I was like, dang, Wrecker's going to be the one to be offed?
I would not have thought, but man, I think this is like the one moment where he like literally just like went all out doing everything he could to try and take out these CX soldiers and stuff like that, while Crosshair and Hunter went to go save Omega. I think this is like probably the most amped up he's been, like as we've seen him.
I mean, it's life or death, man. The adrenaline boost the Wrecker has, man, that got to be one crazy adrenaline boost. But life or death, all that he has, protecting Omega, protecting his brothers, he laid it all on the line.
Oh yeah,
The Hemlock drags Omega to the launch area. They're pretty much trying to escape. The outside location pounds with rain as lightning and thunder crack the sky. Hemlock calls his private shuttle, which is immediately shot out of the air thanks to Crosshair. They take out Scorch, so it's just Hunter and Crosshair versus Hemlock, holding Omega as a human shield. However, Omega knows Hemlock needs her alive. He can't hurt her. She pulls out the hidden tool she's had the whole time. Hunter tells Crosshair to shoot the binders, but he no longer has his shooting hand. So this man's hand was shaking first, and he was nervous about making shots, but now he's not even using his shooting hand. What were you thinking here?
Oh, first of all, I was thinking like in the moment when Hemlock and Omega were coming out into like the rain and the storms like that, that's when like I think this moment got like very cinematic, like movie level status at this point here. But also like as I've said through like all most of our videos that we've done for like the Bad Batch for this season, it's like this is the moment. This is like the most critical moment for Crosshair to make it that shot, that one important shot. No, I did not anticipate that he'd lose his shooting hand. I mean, that shook me. Like I was not. That's crazy. But then
Yeah,
but this moment, he like literally Omega and Hunter were literally putting all of his faith in him because they believed that he could make it that most critical shot. And that moment, after Omega took her hidden tool and like stabbed Hemlock in the leg, Crosshair finally got that important shot. Not and dang it, it wasn't even with his shooting hand. He had to use it with his other hand that he doesn't usually shoot with to make that final critical moment. And he did it. He nailed it, and boom. That's when Hunter and Crosshair shot Hemlock down, gangsta style.
yeah, man. I loved when Hemlock got lit up, man. Bow, bow,
Yeah.
bow, bow.
Oh,
That man got lit.
yeah. Then fell right off on the side, like good riddance.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Crosshair lines up the shot. Crosshair takes the shot. Omega stabs him in the leg, and pretty much he shoots the handcuffs, and boom, they're free, and they take out Hemlock. Man, it was a awesome death. The death and fight scenes in this episode were legit.
Man, they went hard.
They did not disappoint.
Yeah, no,
So that
they really had to make it count for this finale, and they did. My God.
they did. I really, really enjoyed this episode. The batch took out Hemlock, they got Omega, and they take off just in time because Tarkin has arrived with 3 Star Destroyers. They lower over Mount Tantus and begin their investigation. None of Hemlock's research was salvageable. Tarkin orders the destruction of the base and shifts the funding to Project Stardust.
That star.
The Death Star, the first Death Star. On Pabu, the Force-sensitive children and the clones are safe as Emery and Echo watch over them. She says that none of the clones ever had a normal childhood. Their lives have never been their own. Echo smiles and adds, "until now," meaning they are free to do whatever they want. He goes to the Pantora to help the clones settle in other places. He says that Senator Ryochuchi, I would love to know what Emery has to share. Emery agrees to go meet with Chuchi. Omega sits with Hunter, and she notes that her and the 450 kids are finally safe with Hemlock gone. Rex and Hunter are working to find the other kids' families. They wave goodbye to Echo and see him off. Wrecker and Crosshair, having recovered from the injuries, join them. Now the batch and all the clones they helped are free to do whatever they want and choose their own paths. And we get a slow cinematic
Fade to black.
just crawl with the batch.
Yeah. Like you
Sitting
said, yeah.
just like that, man. That's the moment like I started tearing up
I
because
know.
because I realized I was like nobody died or nothing like that, so it wasn't making me tear up like that, but just the fact that it's over.
Yeah, I know, man. I tell you, after that one moment where Larry, Omega is like leaning on Hunter, just trying to relax, sleeping in peace, and then having like Wrecker, Crosshair, and Hunter just sitting there all together like a family. I mean, that's just some heartwarming stuff after all that they've been through. Like, no, they've been like soldiers of war through all this time, and then just having like this one sit down of like peace, being able like to choose to like they'll just settle down finally, like the war is over. I mean, that is some heartwarming stuff, man. I literally teared up. It was just so beautiful, and honestly, it actually reminded me a bit of actually from the final episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian, where we have Din Djarin and Grogu like out on in their own little homestead area, and he's just sitting down while Grogu's just playing on the rocks. Nice little
Yeah,
peaceful home style.
they definitely gave it a happy ending. I will say that.
Yeah, which honestly is not which does not happen a lot for the Star Wars universe. Honestly, where because where usually it's like temporary peace and health and messaging, but then
Mhm.
the next thing starts back up, and you just gotta be on it. Get to the next war, the next battle, the next mission. You know, it's like a rare
Yeah,
thing.
real talk.
It's a really a rare thing. But seeing it like this executed, done with these people, these clones that we've been with for like so many years so far. I mean, come on, how can you not tear up? Honestly, a little bit after this.
Man, how can you not just tear up for the show being over in general?
Shit.
No more Bad Batch episodes. No more spending my Wednesday watching the Bad Batch. The next scene was very interesting. It was
Mhm.
a time jump. Several years later, a figure walks out of the darkness and into the caves of Pabu. A ship is waiting, and I thought it was Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, I almost thought for a second, like,
Yeah,
really, they
yeah.
didn't, like, because, like, again, back in the cliffs and caves again, like, really, did they not bother upgrading like some security or something for that shit again?
Bruh. I know. But it's Omega, clearly older now. Hunter and Batch are waiting for her in the darkness, along with Gonk. Hunter now had gray in his hair and a beard. Omega wants to join the rebellion as a pilot. She says that he has fought enough. It's her turn, her fight. They hug, and Omega tells him to look after the rest of the squad while she's gone. And of course, Batcher too. Along with Gonk and Tech's goggles on the dash, she powers up her ship and leaves to start her next adventure with Hunter's well wishes behind her.
Now, see, that's like
They
another powerful scene moment right here.
they
Honestly,
didn't
mm,
they didn't have to do us like this. They didn't have to do us like this, bruh.
I know. I seriously thought because like I literally thought like it was just gonna cut to credits after they did the whole fade cinematic fade to black at the end, but no, they had to go above and beyond to give us that more to give us more emotion. Like they had to literally had to see them older and living like that peaceful life until Omega is like, I'm gonna go help out and do more missions because it's the right thing to do. I'm gonna go help out more people in this galaxy. But it's like, man, but it was actually nice to see like Hunter old and like at peace and just like, not always like on the edge waiting for the next fight. He actually got to like, stay in one place with his brothers and raise his newfound daughter Omega with the rest of them.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see Crosshair and Wrecker older and everything. I would like to see that, but I feel like this is a very nice tender moment between the two since like from the very beginning of the Bad Batch first season, Omega always just had this significant like critical attachment point to Hunter first and foremost before spanning to the rest. And honestly, this shows a lot more character depth and how much influence that Omega has had with them and vice versa. Because she's come in older. She's got like the Clone Force 99 skull symbol on her jacket. She's wearing like Hunter's old bandana that he used to wear. And she's going to be a pilot, which is what Tech taught her in the earlier seasons. Which just in fact, she still even has his goggles up on the front of the ship in the cockpit.
man, all those details really,
Um,
really touching, man. Really
yeah,
touching.
yeah.
And I really do wish we could have seen Wrecker and Crosshair older. Also, I'm not sure why they left them out. Like she could have said goodbye to them and then walked down to the cave where Hunter was, or something like that. They should have put their farewells in there. Also, the I loved where they ended off. It was a go happy ending. None of our theories came true. Asajj Ventress. I am kind of confused why they even put Asajj Ventress in the show at all. It was like an
I don't
unknown.
know.
Like they teased us for no reason, bro.
I know. I
Like,
almost want to think that they want to do like another spin-off series, like with like the whole thing with like Echo and Rex with the troopers along with Emery, and then somehow put its way into like a Asajj. But I don't know because like and because you saw the clone because you saw Star Wars Rebels and Asajj Ventress didn't make an appearance in that either, right?
man, nah,
Yeah,
she
so
wasn't in
I
Rebels.
don't. Yeah, so I don't know what they were thinking of it. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing to include it. It got us to see how some of these other characters from like the whole Clone Wars series and just kind of see what they were doing or how much they had changed. So like, I won't say it wasn't unnecessary, but it just kind of does raise a lot more questions of like, did they have something else planned going on in the future with more Star Wars projects in the animated style or not? I don't know.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll get more of her story down the line. Maybe there was a point to this. Um, there was a point to it. We got to see kind of her redemption and her on the light side now rather than the dark side. So it wasn't pointless, like you said. But I was expecting her to be in the finale. I was expecting them to kind of join forces with her and her be like the Jedi on their side. And I expected to see what the heck was in that room for
Mm.
Project Necromancer. They kind of left a lot of uh questions out there at the end of this finale. There's still a lot of things that we didn't get out of it. I'm glad we ended on a happy ending. I'm glad my theories didn't come through. I call it Darth Vader didn't come and wreck everybody's shit.
Yeah, I'm glad your theory about of Omega dying didn't come true because I said I wasn't buying
Yeah.
that. I wasn't believing it, man. You know I wasn't believing it all the time. That
Well, I thought they were gonna have I thought there was gonna be a bigger bad guy at the end. To be honest, I thought the CX clones were just gonna be the appetizer, and there was gonna be like a bigger person that they had to face. You feel me?
yeah, but I feel like that was like Hemlock being the main antagonist since it all is connected with this whole like clone with the whole clone stuff for the story. It still fits the best, and honestly, even shows like what could happen with like troopers like 99 were if they had actually gone through the whole reconditioning mental program, stuff like that. Because imagine if they had actually done Order 66 and just been mindless soldiers. Who boy, a lot of Jedi, a whole lot more Jedi, and a lot more enemy to the Republic
Oh, they would have been
would be dead, massacred.
they would have been elite Jedi hunters, and no telling what the Empire would have achieved. Like Tantus would still be there. Like there would be a lot of change if the Bad Batch weren't the Bad Batch and they didn't always follow orders. So I thought it was a great finale, man. I don't have too much to add here. I mean, I loved it. I mean, they ended it happy. They ended it good. I mean, I was kind of like on either end it happy, end it all happy good, and or Omega gets off. That's kind of how I felt. I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Um, so I loved it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nine out of ten. 9 out of 10 for me. I do think there could have been a bigger bang with the finale, but I'm not mad with the story that they told.
Oh yeah, I'm right with you. This whole series has literally been like a 9 out of 10 for me, where it does a lot more expansion into like what happens later on in Star Wars stories that we know that comes after this, and also great more of a what happens to like what happened to like the clones after Order 66 and what changed within the ranks and everything about the formation of the Empire. But I will say there are definitely good episodes and character moments, but then there are some other episodes where they don't hit as much and just kind of more of made as like an in between, where it's just kind of like that episode of the week thing, but then has other episodes later on that just kind of builds and builds on it. But it still manages effectively well and does more to develop what goes on in the galaxy, and again answers more questions on like the clone scenario and things like that. And I also think that the Bat Batch series is kind of meant to be like more of kind of like signifies like the end of like the clone troopers and everything, where it's like we've all moved on and emerged into like this whole new story into the ways of the Empire and the galaxy and its effects, which I honestly think makes it a pretty solid standing point with like probably like the best and influential type of Star Wars stories right along there with like Andor and the original trilogy and the Clone Wars series. It all just adds up more and more into it, and just adds more immersiveness to the universe.
Yeah, the story continues. The Disney hits on their animated series. We saw that with Clone Wars. We saw that with Rebels. It has been some of the best Star Wars works, and personally, some of my favorite Star Wars out there, man. I mean, just the stories and how many episodes, how much content, how much story building, how much just character progression that you get in all three of their big animated shows is amazing. I have no complaints about any of these animated series, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next, which is tomorrow actually, or Saturday actually, with the Empire.
Tales of the Sith or Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, Tales of the Empire, and I'm looking forward to what they do with animation. They do not miss when it comes to animation. Hopefully, they can bring somebody that's in the writing room, the people that are working on these animated series, and bring them over to the live action stuff, and we can get the same quality of content over there.
Yeah, for real, man. We really just need more of that. Like, give us more of that.
Yeah, give us more of this. Give us more of that. Give us more of the Bad Batch. But sadly, we will have no more of the Bad Batch. I'll wait a year or two and then start giving this a rewatch. I like to give TV series a couple years and then give them a rewatch because forget so many details and you can just go back and watch it and just really fully enjoy it again. But man, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's about it, man.
Yeah, I think this is it. This is the end. Yeah, we're not back. We're not back next week. Like this is it right here, man. It has been a journey. It's been really great going through a whole series like this, and neither one of us has done this before, especially a series with this many episodes. So it's been a feat for me and Alex. And like we said, we really appreciate y'all tuning in with us. We really appreciate the likes. We really appreciate the views and the just numbers that we've been putting up with these videos. We're glad you like them. We'll be back for you want to do. We haven't even discussed this, but you want to do Tales of the Empire? We might
Oh
as well.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we will be back for Tales of the Empire. Check out our Tales of the Empire videos. It has been an amazing 15, well, actually 13 weeks with you all. Alex, do you have anything to say to the subscribers, to the fans before we go?
Yeah, I think what Wyatt said it best here. Thank you so much for coming along with us on this journey, everybody. Thank you for the views, and if you have any final thoughts about the finale and the Bad Batch and what your feelings of the series is as a whole, do not be afraid to put in the comments section, and we'll probably give you some nice little replies and feedbacks. So again, please subscribe for more content, and yeah, check us out soon. Check us out within a couple of days or probably next week for our review and video of Tales of the Empire.
Yeah. Tales of the Empire will be out sometime next week, guys. We'll check y'all out over there. This has been the Bad Batch season finale. It's been an amazing time with y'all. Bye, guys. May the Force be with you.
The Force be with you.